Welcome into the PHNX Cardinals podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This Thanksgiving, be thankful for free bets. New customers can bet just $1 on any NFL game on Thanksgiving and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. Just remember to use the code PHNX when you sign up. Chierstin here with Frank Sanders, Johnny Venerable, and guys, I missed you this weekend.
We missed you.
We did.
Yeah.
100%. Yep.
We always do. We always miss each other when what are you laughing at?
Well, I want to share a text message. Chierstin, is it okay if I share this text message with our faithful viewers? So Chierstin had a nice weekend, and she went to a wedding, right? Well, would you explain what you did?
Yeah, so I was in New Orleans for a wedding. The wedding was on Sunday, so got in on Friday, and I did not realize that New Orleans was basically a combination of between Vegas and Nashville. 100%. And I didn't know that I was going to get down like that over the weekend. I just thought I was going to have fun.
You said get down. What do you mean get down?
Like,
she sent me
party all night.
She sent me a text today. It was at 12:50. Before you boarded your flight. And she said, I'm so hungover, I might die. Going to try to do this rundown on my flight. So what did you take for your ailment? Did you eat some greasy food? Did you have some Advil? Did you get some Pedialyte? That's my go-to is my kids' Pedialyte.
Yeah, unfortunately did not have any Pedialyte. I had greasy food for sure. Had at the airport, had really good wings and a fried shrimp po' boy.
Oh wow!
Before we boarded,
delicious.
It was great.
Excellent.
Unfortunately, my boyfriend and I were in the same situation, and we ate the wings, and we're like, "Oh, this is giving me life." And then we got to like the second part of what we were eating, and all of a sudden it went like the opposite direction. We were like, "Oh, like that was a bad decision." So like the first flight we probably should have had like a bag nearby, probably.
Yeah.
Luckily we didn't need it. And then a nap on the second flight was really what really helped. And I was like, I ate so much, like drank so much, like once I get in, like eating healthy, I'm not drinking, and then I come in and
what is this voice?
That's like what I felt like.
Yeah.
Because that's how I talk when I'm complaining about not feeling well and being hungover.
Okay.
So I get here and Frank's got like 3 orders of boneless wings and hands me a White Claw, and here we go again.
Let's get the party popping, baby.
Frank knows. Frank knows that one of my favorite foods and definitely my favorite wings are Applebee's boneless wings. How could anybody forget that?
Right.
And they came out with hot Cheeto and Cheeto boneless wings.
Yep, they did.
So Frank brought me some to try, or brought, I guess, everybody. Brought the crew some to try.
Nice.
And
what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so the regular Cheeto one is pretty disgusting. I have really low standards when it comes to food, so I will eat it.
Okay.
I was actually eating it earlier. Still, I was like, oh, I don't like that at all. I was just continuing to eat. But the hot Cheeto one is good.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I'll eat gas station food. I did not like those at all.
Well, try the hot Cheetos.
I don't really feel like
I will eat gas station food, but I don't like those at all.
Like I'll leave the studio and I'll drive down whatever that gas station is down the street, and I'll get like prepackaged stuff just to poison my body.
Disgusting.
It's real bad. And I'll eat that on my drive home to Maricopa, Arizona. But those regular ones were
going to do it for you. Huh?
No.
Look, as an athlete, I'm gonna tell you this here: we have so many cheat days. We have so many cheat days. You think these guys are just vegan, keto?
Still though?
I still have cheat days. I cheat so
Well,
much.
I mean, athletes nowadays they still have cheat days.
Yeah, they still have cheat days. You have to have that moment because you have to replenish your body with something. You have to replenish your body with the carbs and the grease, and you need those things that allow your body to kind of not.
I've never heard anybody say,
balance.
"Oh, yeah,
It's
you
the
really
balance.
need to replenish your body with that grease." So make
No,
sure
do.
you get in grease.
Look, it's a great balance because all you do is run, burn, and you got so many fat. You need the fatty stuff to kind of overcome that in some areas of your body.
Do you think Colt McCoy loaded up on carbs before yesterday's performance?
I think Colt McCoy loaded up on a lot of prednisone because he was so calm in that game. He needed to be relaxed. He needed to be chilled.
Yeah.
And he looked exactly like that. The numbers he put up was absolutely, totally, I mean, I didn't think it. And we said we try to wage against Colt McCoy so we could have the revenge
I did.
curse, or just kind of reverse
jinx.
Reverse jinx.
Wait, what? I missed this.
It's reverse curse, reverse jinx.
When you bet against
against the Cardinals, and then but you know for a fact that they're probably going to win.
It's not.
It helps.
That's not what it is. It's just an excuse for Johnny to use.
Well, no.
I was sitting in my bed.
The facts that was on the table at the time, presented to JV was Kylo not playing, D Hop's not playing, so
punting till the bye,
and we're getting ready to go in the bye. And after that piss poor performance on last Sunday, Colt not getting a bunch of reps, not being the starter in practice. So now you put those things on the table, and Russell's back in week 2.
But so by putting money against the Cardinals,
absolutely. Sometimes you have to go that route just to believe.
I think part of the reason that fueled me, for full transparency, I put $150 on the Seahawks money line Saturday night. I was sitting with my wife.
Did you learn your lesson?
I did. And I said all year, like, I'm not going to bet against this team again, like after the Browns game, the COVID game, like all that. But a big fat asterisk because Kyler Murray was still out. And I watched this team against Carolina at home. I was in person for that game in the press box. They looked completely dejected. And they're without their emotional leader. And I have respect for Colt McCoy. I thought he'd play well against San Francisco, and he did. But to ask him to do it twice in 3 games, twice,
and he was injured,
right? That was a big part of it too. Is like, could he even go? Like, there was a part of me Saturday night when the line was plus 1.5. I bet 150. The payout was 270, so I would have made about $120. I thought there was a chance like we could see Strevler, and then like the wheels were going to come off.
Who is no longer with the team?
Yes, and we'll get to that in a second. But I sat there. I told my wife, like, this. You know what? I'm going to jump on this because, and it did. I said by Sunday morning this line is going to go up, and it went up to 3.5. So I felt like I'm getting pretty good odds on it. But retrospect, I would much prefer the Cardinals to win, clearly. And I feel like I did a small part in helping them reverse jinx it. And Colt McCoy, I feel like played well because I put this bet on Seattle, and he, fueling the haters. He came out and played. It was probably the best performance of his career. He's been in the league for like 10 years.
I'm not going to act like I predicted this by any means, but I also felt and said that his performance against Carolina, I don't believe like that's what you're going to get out of him every single week. I mean, I feel like he had those Niner type games left in him. And just because you roll him out isn't a guaranteed loss. And so, we know that Seattle is not the Seattle of past, and they're struggling right now. And so as long as he was like healthy enough to play, and he probably got a million shots to be ready for it, but I still feel confident as long as all the pieces around him, defense, game planning, everything else is solid, because what we saw against Carolina was so uncharacteristic from just about everybody that was out there, that if you came back and you had, you rolled Colt out there once more, that you still have a pretty good chance to win.
I think the Cam effect was that the magnitude of Cam Newton coming back and seeing his presence on the field is bigger than what we think, and how it not only affects his team, but how it affects the opponent. And something about that week just looked like we were off. The whole game looked like we were off, and the guys weren't ready to play emotionally, as if they had already checked out. And unfortunately, they met a very, very good team ready to come to play. That came ready to play against the Arizona Cardinals at home. And so that, to me, I get it. I didn't think Colt would come out the following week after an injury and perform the way he did. I don't know. Look, I don't know what medicine they gave him, but it's really good medicine that they gave him, and he went out and did an excellent job. I agree with you 100%, Chierstin. I think the game plan was fabulous, and I think he ran that game plan as if it was his own, knowing that he didn't have all the reps in practice, but he still mentally got ready for Sundays, for physical play on Sunday, and he did that. And it was absolutely fabulous showing.
Do we owe him an apology?
I mean, I do, but I'm down $150, so I need to apologize to the members of my family for placing this bet. So I feel like that's enough. That suffices. Colt, he's confident in himself. God damn it. I really thought, too, I was like hedging my bet
Frankie.
one way or the other.
Frankie doesn't get her dino nuggets now.
She doesn't get
ramen.
She gets great value diapers now. I can't get the Pampers. I'm so sorry, honey. No, in full transparency, your gambling money, PHNX bets daily bets, our show at noon. Myself, Shane Diefenbach. If you don't have a little bit of disposable income, you should not be betting. And I had some extra cash. I had a little bit of cash hanging out in the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and I didn't use it well. That's all I can say. I'm sorry, Colt. I wrote an article, gophnx.com, last night, shameless plug, that Colt McCoy has now engraved himself into prominent Cardinal backup QB, like, legacy status.
Wow,
like,
how things change so quickly. Johnny,
Chierstin,
how did you write that article a week after you were trashing him?
I did not trash him. all I said was
own it.
He hit play. It's like you only have so many shots. I'm not a gun guy, but you only have so many shots in your gun, right? You only have so many bullets, right?
Yep.
I feel like the Cardinals with Colt McCoy, you get like one shot, one game's worth of quality play, and that's it. And then if you have to start him for an extended period of time, you're going to get exposed. And I thought, foolishly, last week against Carolina was the beginning of the unraveling, right? And I'm like, yeah, we've overextended. And I was under the impression, I'm sure you guys were too, that Kyler Murray was going to play this week. Practice all week. You got to get this win before the bye. You got to keep pace. You have to take advantage of teams like the LA Rams losing. And then when I saw that Murray was not going to play Saturday night, I was just thinking to myself, and to your point, he was hampered. Colt McCoy got injured in that game and left. He left in the third quarter of the Carolina game and did not return and barely practiced this week. Now, I know you saw him throwing the ball around a little bit. I just was like, man, that just does not seem like a recipe for a win. And if you go back, if you look at the box score and you saw that the Seahawks didn't turn it over one time, if I would have told you that before the game, would you think the Cardinals would have a shot at winning if you knew the Seahawks wouldn't turn it over once? Of course not. We would have thought the Cardinals probably, in turn, turned it over 2 or 3 times. Neither team turned the ball over, but the Cardinals won time of possession. Have you guys seen this number? 40-19.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen a disparity in a Cardinal game in my lifetime where it's been that lopsided. And that was all number 12. Unbelievable.
I'm still slightly hungover, and I'm getting wafts of these Cheeto wings, and I need to move them. So
here, you can.
Oh my gosh.
I'll move them to my side.
I was doing great until wow.
These look really terrible, especially now we've got ring lights and lights here, and like I can see, like. Yeah,
they taste good though.
They do.
I mean, yeah, but
I think I've had enough.
By the time we end our show, I probably will be hungry enough to eat one.
You probably want to try one at least, though. So it's all good. It's all good.
Do you want to know why they were cheering in the other room?
Yeah, what happened?
Okay, so for those, I don't know if the viewers can hear, but there's cheering, and it's because Espo, Saul, and Shane bet on Jay Crowder to
again.
First bucket, and he did, and they all just won a bunch of money. So
Wow.
Espo won $1,300 yesterday.
What?
Yeah.
He won $1,100 just now.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
They literally say
somebody needs to make me whole after Saturday night. Somebody needs to just throw a little love my way.
Well, no,
my
we need to bet on. We need to bet with them when they go because they literally say statistically Jay Crowder is typically, they bet on the odd that Jay Crowder is the first one to score a point, and whatever that amount is, it turns into like $1,100 to $1,500 every time that if you bet on Jay Crowder to be the first one to score a point versus in the game, then you'll win a bunch of money. And he's been And Vegas keeps putting him out there as Jay Crowder, and they take it, and there's a win right there. Boom.
If that's not the perfect transition,
a little bit more information for you
to the
guys at
DraftKings Sportsbook
PHNX.
app.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta talk about the DraftKings Sportsbook app now.
Yeah,
My
go right
goodness,
ahead.
people just in the other room winning over $1,000 because Jay Crowder hit a shot. My goodness.
Individually.
Yeah, if you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code PHNX for the Thanksgiving games. All customers going to get a risk-free bet up to $25 if your same-game parlay does not win. So this is a special same-game parlay deal that they've going on just for Thanksgiving games. We love DraftKings because it's safe, secure, reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So again, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the code PHNX. But as always, it is 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right.
All right.
I feel a little less nauseous now that those wings are over by Johnny.
Yep.
All right, so Elon asking, did you guys talk about the new quarterback we acquired from the Ravens? We have not spoken about it yet. So Chris Streveler, and I did not get an email from the Cardinals on this, which means they have not officially announced.
Yeah, it's speculatory on the part of John Gambadaro that the Cardinals are cutting Chris Streveler. I think that's the play. Everybody jumped to that conclusion after they made their acquisition today, but it hasn't officially happened yet. I'm sure if it does happen, it'll take place tomorrow. But the Cardinals currently have 4 quarterbacks on the roster.
Yeah, I feel like Gambo is the only person that's reported that. So,
do you know about our new quarterback, Frank?
I have no idea. I did not know that we had a new quarterback.
We do. The Cardinals claimed. Can you remind me who it is, Chierstin?
Yeah, I was hoping that you would buy me a little bit more time here.
I tell you what, though, what we did talk about in the past was the purpose of having backup quarterbacks on your team is so that you can add more reps to what's taking place, not only excuse me, from a defense perspective, but you need to have certain quarterbacks going into the next couple of weeks in order to be able to service your defense as well. With it just being Kyler, who hasn't had a bunch of reps. Colt, you can't really put him out there too much because his arm and his time in NFL says that it needs some time of rest after a big game. He just threw 44. He threw 44 passes. He completed 35.
Well,
right,
if it's for depth purposes, then why would you just cut Chris Streveler?
Well, it's Trace McSorley, by the way.
Yeah, Trace McSorley.
His name escaped me for a hot minute. I apologize. Former 6th-round pick, has bounced around, has been with the Baltimore Ravens each of the past 2 seasons, was a 4-year starter at Penn State.
Yeah.
Not a great player, not a great prospect.
6th-round draft pick in 2019. So,
right.
Yeah.
But his build, if you're not familiar with Trace's game, about 6 foot, maybe 215, 220. He's kind of got a little bit like Colt's build, but much more athletic, given that he's only a couple of years out of college, can move a little bit. A lot of people have been jumping on the comparison because Kliff coached him to, is he a poor man's Johnny Manziel? He does have mobility. I just think that, again, the idea is, and a lot of people want to jump to the conclusion that Kyler's not healthy, and that's why they did this. I actually got a DM earlier today asking me if we had heard something there's a rumor going around that Kyler Murray's got a pinky issue.
A pinky issue?
Similar to what Russell Wilson's got going on, or a finger issue. And I said, they have to disclose that. I haven't heard anything about that. By all accounts, he's going to return after the bye. I think this is more having to do with Chris Streveler kind of being on borrowed time for some time with the organization. And they haven't cut him yet. I do think that's coming. Everybody that I talked to right after they had signed Trace and claimed him off of Baltimore's practice squad. So they went and pried him and had an intent to do this for a little while. Means that the Chris Streveler experiment's over, I think, is what it comes down to. I don't know why he was still on the roster. They're limited with what they can do with him. He's a runner more than a thrower. Did not look good last year. Came in for mop-up duty against Carolina. I think he's been exposed, and I think the Cardinals with Trace are going with a guy clearly, He played at Penn State, was an actual draft pick that has more upside. And so they like him as a developmental player. I think that's basically the skinny of the situation.
Are people just sitting on Reddit all day, just like making up like, oh, I heard Kyler has like this pinky issue that nobody's talking about?
Well, the guy who jumped in my DMs was very respectful. He says his buddy who has some insight says that they just don't want to disclose it. Number one, Russell Wilson had surgery. If Kyler Murray needed surgery, he'd have had it by now. He was close. That he was throwing at practice. Russell Wilson wasn't throwing up until like 10 days ago. By the time the Cardinals kick off in Chicago, he will have had almost 50 days off. That in and of itself is unbelievable. He'll have a 50-day break from live contact. So even if he does have, a sore finger or whatever, like outside of surgery, you can recover from just about anything in that time period.
And you mentioned that, and it almost makes me a little concerned with maybe having a game or two of like, well, probably a game of knocking off the rust, because that's a lot of football that you've missed now.
It would be. I think the beauty in this team is that they seem to be able to switch out quarterbacks between Kyler as well as Colt, and then just go back to what is normal. As long as Kliff is continually keeping the game plans with perspective to who's the quarterback and what line you have in front of the quarterback, then I think you can kind of create something that allows you just to go out and do what you do normally. We literally have a lot of some really good talent. Like, we got players that can get open, they can create windows. You don't have to be always on your game. Like, I think there's several plays that showed us in this past week that you don't have to be on your game. You just have to get it in the window where we can make a catch. And AJ made some great catches. Zach Hurt made some great catches. Guys made plays that just their own athleticism as well as, their God-given ability. They went out and made those plays that they probably wouldn't have made, and some receivers probably wouldn't make. So I think that as long as we have what Kliff got going on in his meeting rooms, and the guys are able to understand exactly what the game plan is in regards to attacking the other opponents, they seem to play very well. It is crazy though that your starting quarterback has missed 50 games and we're still doing extremely well. It's crazy.
Are you wearing White Claw glasses?
Are they?
It does say White Claw.
White Claw on the
side. It does say White Claw, and it does. Well, what happened was, in my astute moment, I was participating in a beverage at a White Claw event, and they had like that table that was set out there with some supplies, and I thought to myself, sure, I'll have the glasses, and I will have a little bit of your potion. And
then Frank does this thing where he takes the lenses out of the glasses.
I do.
They look on camera. They look a lot different than like a plastic pair of White Claw sunglasses that you got from an event. So
yeah, that's
good job.
Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
That's what we do. Good
Frank
call.
had a fun weekend too. He was in Mexico.
Look, I had a blast at a great charitable event with Luis Gonzalez, former MLB, Arizona Diamondbacks, of course, world champion, along with Junior Spivey, another part of that player of that team.
Yeah.
But he brought 5 pitchers that was down, Bruce Chen and Jake Baker. Like, he brought some players down. And then also I brought 7 or 8 football players down at the same event. The charity was for Mission One over in the Rocky Point area or Sonoran area, where they would go out and build homes for those families that were working families, but they wanted to try to give them some real brick and mortar where they can stay at. And so it was a really good charity. Raised $24,000.
Wow.
We had 17 foursomes that was there. Had a bunch of football players. A great time. Let me tell you something. When they gave us that band, that was an all-inclusive band, I ate.
Is that when you become Speedo Jackson, or if you're in Mexico, are you just Frank?
I was Speedo Jackson, and like they kept saying, "Bro, how you do this?" I was like, "I don't know, but just make it a double." I don't know, but make it a double.
I was telling Frank, like,
going.
there's 2 things that are so dangerous for me. It's like all you can eat, all you can drink. Like, if it's a buffet style, I will eat until my clothes are so tight that I need to
we need to stop. Yeah.
I have to stop. Like, there's no other choice but to stop. And then drinking,
kept going
0 to 100 real quick.
The best combination that I've experienced is the all-inclusive bar with a swim-up bar portion. We went to Mexico, or not Mexico, the Dominican Republic for my honeymoon with my wife and I. And they had just the best swim-up bar with these like stone seats that you could come and do the deal with. And I'm a big, this is probably not going to surprise you guys. I'm a big pina colada guy. And
he's killing us, Smalls. He's messing up the band.
I was like 24. I was like 24 years old, but I probably had like maybe like 10 over the course of like.
You got married when you're 24?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
it's a different
Johnny.
time. I'm 33 now, happily married, almost 10 years, 10-year anniversary this upcoming spring. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the all-inclusive, but with the incorporation of a swim-up bar.
Look, it was awesome. I can't tell you how awesome it was, but it was awesome. It was epic. Every player, Jerome Daniels, Daryl Clack, Chris Williams, Derek Frazier, Rich Cunningham, Sidney Justin. His son, Arabian Justin, was going to make it, but he literally had a car accident off the 101 before he got there. So, but it was a great time. Look, if you get a chance, go to Jerome Daniels on Facebook. Check out his Facebook post. If you can see it, you'll see a lot of stuff. We were singing like Sidney Justin played for the Rams. He's a defensive back, but he replaced Smokey Robinson in the Miracles. And so, but he has like his 3 or 4 brothers and some cousins that are literally the Miracles right now. You know how you kind of replace the band and put some new guys in that can sing your songs? Sidney Justin, defensive back for the Rams, literally is the Smokey Robinson of the group. So if you go look at Jerome Daniels' post, you will see me doing the doo-wop dance.
I saw some of it. It's great.
And you know what? It's pretty great. Sydney got this drink called the Steel Warrior, and it is Patron and Grand Marnier shots. And
God, you guys had a much better weekend than I had. I lost
absolutely
$150 betting against my team. What did I do Saturday? I watched my kids so my wife could go out. Well deserved. She went to brunch. Saturday is usually,
wish I could have,
because we're off Saturday. Saturday is usually the day where my wife goes out and can have some much deserved me time. So I had both my kids Saturday.
That's fantastic.
You guys were like living it up, man. Damn it. When's that coming for me?
I'm telling you, ready? Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Thanksgiving.
I'd be a
Forget
dead
the family. Let's go do it.
I'd be a dead man.
Let's go do it.
You guys just, I'll live vicariously through you both.
I need a break for a little while.
Also, we found out that Johnny and I have the actual same birthday.
We do. Birthday brothers.
Yes, sir.
February 17th. Just like MJ.
Yep, February 17th.
3 great men, 3 elite men at their craft, some might say. All right, this is going off the rails.
Perfect.
This is a Victory Monday. We're allowed to
Sean
bask.
said he watched his son. He watched his son win a soccer tournament.
Excellent, Sean. Love
there you
hearing
go.
that.
Dads, man, you got to be there for your kids, man. What's up?
T-ball at 7 a.m. has drained my life force. Thank God that's over with.
Oh my goodness, that's so early.
7 a.m.
Frank
T-ball in Maricopa.
Tim called me Frank the Tank. I was there. I'm telling you, like we had a really good time supporting the cause and creating another cause and because that cause was so great. We had to get out of there real fast.
Jesus.
All right, well, let's get out of this conversation.
Okay.
Kliff is king. Somebody said in the chat earlier that he doesn't get talked enough or gets enough credit. And like Frank certainly.
Tattoo coming up December 7th live right here or over there in the other studio, but it will happen live. I'm getting the K2 tattoo. I have a bunch of people. I appreciate that. That have agreed to which tattoo they wanted. I had one that kind of represented a little bit of the Kwame Lassiter's tattoo, and then I had the one that was the original K2 that I put out there. And a lot of people like the original K2, so I like that too as well. Yeah, because I mean it's about Kliff. It's not about anybody else. And I still I think want to add the PHNX at the bottom. Because I want the lifetime supply of shirts and membership and subscriptions.
Not a lifetime supply of shirts.
I want a lifetime of
I want all the free shirts.
I want all the free shirts.
And all the free gear.
All the free gear. I want all free access as this place blows up. And maybe I'm not here, but I want to have access. Look, PHNX on my wrist. Sean's going to get it too as well. Peter probably he'll get it on his back. And then we'll be good to go.
Okay, maybe we can get some PHNX sunglasses for you. You can pop these lenses out and wear those around.
I can make that happen.
All right, well, Kliff is king, and we certainly like to give him credit on this show. He has led the Cardinals as head coach to the best record in the NFL once again, undefeated versus NFC West teams, and has increased the Cardinals' win total in each year as head coach, which no other NFL team has done in the last 3 years. So we're talking about, I mean, Johnny, you already think like for sure unanimous coach of the year.
I saw something. I don't know if it's DraftKings. Our friends at DraftKings, I hope to God it wasn't, that the odds for coach of the year, he's the favorite, that being Kliff Kingsbury, I think at plus 500. Bill Belichick was plus 600, which is like neck and neck. There is not a place where in any scenario, and Belichick's probably the greatest coach of all time, that he is having a better season than Kliff Kingsbury. Kliff Kingsbury was picked to finish last in his division, the most competitive. The NFC West was talked about going into the season as the best division, top to bottom, in 20 years in the NFL. And the Cardinals were universally picked last. And now they're 9-2 with the NFL's best mark going into their bye week. I don't care if, I don't think, outside of them just falling on their face to end the season and winning like one more game, this award's been locked up, not only because of the victories and the record right now at 9-2, it's how they've gotten here. You go 2-1 with Colt McCoy. You go the entire month of November and you gain ground on everybody else without Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and Chase Edmonds. And then you put together a staff and a game plan for Cleveland when you're not going to be there and you win handedly. I did not think he was capable of this kind of coaching performance. I always had belief in Kliff because I saw it during his rookie coaching season 2 years ago where he put together a lot of creative game plans. They were super competitive when the roster didn't match it. I think that I was just tainted by how they finished last year, and I was disappointed in Kliff. And I thought that they'd have a nice season this year. I thought they'd be around 500, if not a game or two better. I did not expect him. He is a big-time NFL head coach right now, and thankfully a lot of people are coming out to his defense, like, Texas Tech, nobody can win there. The infrastructure's not great. He's always had a great offensive mind, and I think just he fell into the right situation. He earned this opportunity, first of all. He fell into the right situation where he's got a defensive coordinator that owns that side of the ball, and he can focus on the offense and leading the 53-man roster. And then also his relationship with Steve Keim, they're lockstep. Keim gets him the players to fit his system. Kliff has some input, but he focuses on the day-to-day, the game planning. He's not dabbling like Pete Carroll is in personnel and giving up multiple picks for a box safety like Jamal Adams. So they have, in my opinion, the envy of the NFL right now. A hotshot young offensive coach, which everybody's looking for, right? A GM that Steve Keim right now is in line to win Executive of the Year, and a team that's, I think, one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl.
That's well said.
A coach that has failed the first 2 years as a head coach coming from a losing situation out of college, and then to flip the script in his third season and to have the guys, the team, the players on board, whether all the good players are there or not. It's, as a former player, I think it's amazing. I think it's crazy how it's transitioned. It's crazy how the narrative has changed. It's great to watch him grow. You'd almost want to see him grow from a college perspective because you didn't do it at that level, but you just immediately jumped into high school like you failed middle school, but now you're in high school and you're getting all A's. Like, that's crazy to me. But whatever he's done in transition-wise to become better. He sought out mentors. He sought out people he can go talk to. He's been humble in the process of not knowing it all, but yet still, you say he's able to clown on himself, and that Ted Lasso situation where he speaks about himself in that situation.
There's another clown situation that we're going to get to.
And so I think, to me, there's a good thing in that. And I always say, man, look, in the NFL, I don't trust coaches. Like, I don't trust you because I'm getting paid and you're getting paid, and whatever you say might not necessarily benefit me, and then you might not play me because it don't benefit you, because I'm not the $10 million man, but I'm better than the $10 million man. And so I understand that. So that to me, I get. But in reality, if it's all about just winning and you're not creating that atmosphere or showing me that you care about winning, then that becomes a conflict of interest, and everyone can see that. This guy stayed the course on, I'm trying to be a great coach in this game, and I'm trying to live up to my highest potential. And I think I see that. And that, to me, makes me appreciate why At the beginning of the year, I thought no, they gonna fail.
I thought no,
he's out.
It's a no.
It's a no. He's out. He'll be gone this year. Kyler will look for a new. They'll get a new head coach.
He was the number one coach on the hot seat in the NFL.
I thought he was 100%, and Steve Kine was number one general manager.
Yeah,
they were going to clean house,
and I thought I thought Mike was going to dump everybody. It's 100% dumpster fire, but it has proven to be that this group has learned, evolved, and figured out a good way to get these guys to show up and play on Sundays.
Tim asked in the chat, Cards GM up for GM of the year. Hell yes. I don't know how Steve Keim's not at least in the final 3 for executive of the year with the moves he's made. And the players that were on display yesterday were all additions this offseason. James Conner, Chase Edmonds, A.J. Green, trading for Zach Ertz midseason. Those are moves that have transpired in the last 6 months. So as passionate as we feel about the job Kliff's done this year, and Keim has not been perfect either. God knows he hasn't. He's made mistakes on and off the field. But he is definitely in the running. I don't know if he's a lock. Kingsbury, in my opinion, is a lock. But Keim deserves recognition as well.
We missed this when we were talking about Frank's tattoo, but Peter, with the super chat, left pec tattoo, number 1 in the standings, number 1 in our hearts.
Aww. Aww. I might put that around the K2 then. If Pete, you can get the heart around the K2, and I'll just have an arrow shooting through the K2.
All right. Well, we mentioned how Kliff kind of likes to poke fun at himself. We all enjoy that. He was asked today whether he's gotten satisfaction out of leading the Cardinals to this point after being questioned so often in his career, which we went over. Yeah. Here's what he had to say.
No. The only thing, I like is family members, people that have believed in me forever, them to actually not, hear me called a dumbass all the time. So that's kind of the biggest positive I take away from all of it.
There you go.
Look, I've called so much that the offense was simple, and it was too bland. It was bread, bologna, and just mayo. But he's evolved this into a really good sandwich of a mix of. He's added some Italian dressing. He's added some lettuce, some peppers. You got another piece of meat on there. You got a bacon, and you toasted the bread. This is why it tastes so delicious, and it's easy to accept what the Cardinals look like right now. It is a well put together.
What is that analogy? I can't get on board with that analogy. Remember,
before it was bland and was whack. The first 2 years was bland and whack.
No.
You knew DeAndre Hopkins stayed on the left side 100%. Kyler Murray ran backyard football and throw it up left to DeAndre Hopkins. He never moved. The offense didn't go left or right. We got rid of some players. It wasn't pretty.
It's a panini now.
From gas station to gourmet sandwich.
Oh, man.
Bam. My girl knows what she's talking about.
Don't hate on.
Yes, gas station to gourmet. And that's exactly what Kliff has done so far. And you guys can agree 100% know for a fact that the offense is amazing right now. And it's not because we added Rondale Moore. We're moving guys around. We're giving you different sets. I've shown you that several times on the Frank Knows that we're in different formations that have never been the same. That we've shown before. We got 4 receivers on one side, 1 receiver on the other side. That's stupid. We never done that before. And look, Kliff has evolved. And that's not just him by himself. The coaching staff, we say it all the time, that they're showing a sense of oneness that is pretty beautiful, man. And I appreciate it. So that to me is why he deserves to be in some areas. And he has to continue.
I think that they've
he has to continue.
Yeah, and they've made some upgrades offensively. They did not have Zach Ertz or Rondale Moore or A.J. Green or Rodney Hudson on this offense last year or James Conner. So I think
but you're talking about when you say those names, they had players. We can go tit for tat with the players.
The receiving core each of the first 2 years.
We can go tit for tat outside of Zach Ertz but you can't say A.J. Green because we had Christian Kirk on the outside.
And that was a mistake.
But they didn't use him, though. They didn't use him.
He's not built for the outside. He's a slot receiver. They forced – here's the problem. No one wants to admit this, and you know where I'm going with this.
Go right on now.
Because number 11 was on this team last year, and he had to play inside. That meant Christian Kirk had to play outside.
Real quick, Sean with the super chat, just for being awesome. Appreciate y'all as always. I have to go adult.
Sean.
Go adult, Sean. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night.
Thank you,
with your
Sean.
adult responsibilities.
Yeah.
No, they they had issues at the receiving core last year, and I think they finally, when Larry left, I love you, Larry, greatest Cardinal of all time, it kind of opened up this offense to, okay, Hopkins, his position is set. Let's just do what's best for Kliff's offense. Kirk in the slot. They targeted A.J. Green. They brought in Antoine Wesley, Kliff's former guy at Texas Tech. They drafted Rondale Moore. Everybody knows the position that they're being asked to do, the role that they have. And then clearly when Max Williams went down, they're like, we want to incorporate the tight end more. It was a big piece of our offense. Boom, they brought in Zach Ertz. All the pieces offensively have come in and meshed so seamlessly. I do think that part of the reason we saw this offense become stagnant last year, to your point, it was backyard football. They were just I think they were too limited at the skill position last year, specifically pass catcher. And they've remedied that now.
Well, Frank, you talked about it. I think it was the Carolina game where you were talking about how, when you don't have all your pieces, you're limited as, from a coaching perspective. And so that definitely applies. I mean, I think just in terms of Kliff having all the tools, like literally all the tools he needs to be able to just be creative or just, whatever he wants to do, he shouldn't have any sort of limitations in terms of the pieces that he has.
I agree with you. I mean, every coach wants that. And then you walk into a scenario where you think you have some pieces, but you have all your pieces. And then all the pieces have to learn your system and learn how you want to be able to call plays. I think when Gus Malzahn went to Auburn, he had to change a lot of guys. And this is going back to college in regards to the fact that he wanted to run fast offense and getting the ball off almost every 13 seconds. That's crazy to tell yourself. You run a play, you get down, you run back to the line of scrimmage, you look out to the left, look to the right, call a play and go again. And you have to have the players in shape that won't blow a hamstring and mentally smart enough to be able to go left and right and play, handle the plays. Kliff is no different. I agree with you 100% on that. So you need the plays, and if you don't have the players, it's going to affect how you call the plays. And if that's the case, we can look back and say, well, then, okay, Kliff, I apologize.
All that East and West stuff that he loves to do, it's not as egregious this year because he's got a Rondale Moore, right? And we saw yesterday, Rondale Moore, integral piece of this offense, only had like 50 total yards. Yeah, 11 receptions, though.
I laughed at that. I thought that was like one of the most funniest stats ever.
Yeah.
Like that's as a receiver.
Yeah.
Because 11 balls.
But it was purposeful, right? It was, and the reverses, again, last year, they were just so limited with their ability to produce yards after catch. And now, like Ertz, and specifically, I think Ertz and Rondale Moore have given this team a dynamic where you can manufacture yards in a way that you were just unable to do last year. And we saw the maturation process of that Sunday, where you don't have your best receiver in Hopkins. Kyler Murray's not available. You assume your margin for error is very small. And then you've got big number 86 dragging people to the goal line. And Rondale Moore, I mean, you go back and look at a couple of those early first downs that set the tempo in the first half. It's Rondale Moore manufacturing yards like on 3rd and 10, and he's catching the ball. He's got to make up 5, 6, 7 yards to get to the first down, and he does it. They exposed, and not to get back on the Seahawk game plan, but give Kliff credit, they exposed the back seven of Seattle, the inability to cover from Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks and Jamal Adams. The Cardinals' skill players exposed them in space, and that's not something we could say last year about this group of players.
I agree with you. That's true.
I agree. I'm still pondering whether I should pitch the PHNX sunglass idea. I think they're going to look great, so maybe I will. In the meantime, we do have lots of T-shirts up on our website, phnxlocker.com. And it was funny. I saw JJ tweet, maybe, ... from his famous quote, maybe we're just effing better. So all he did was tweet maybe ... and it got like 1 million reactions because everyone knew what he was talking about. It was a great tweet. Maybe. And that shirt is still one of our best sellers up on phnxlocker.com.
You got to get some. You got to get one.
Yeah, I love that shirt. Johnny's rocking one of our black and white PHNX shirts. If you become a member, you can get one for free. And we obviously would love to have everybody become a part of our fam. So that's our T-shirts. Working on the sunglasses. All right, I pulled some fun facts from this game because there were a ton of them. So I just wanted to read some of the fun facts and we can talk. What?
Is it the PHNX
Bathrobe. Peter asking, is the PHNX bathrobe still in stock?
That must be one of one.
Look, real quick, Out of the Blue is making some good points, and look, you're absolutely right, man. Sometimes you don't think that they're important until you realize how important they really are.
Well, can you read it for us?
Well, it said, I used to not think that coaches were a big deal. However, a well-practiced team and knowledge team in their schemes is dangerous, and that's on the coach. All the players have to do is practice, and he's 100% right in regards to that, because I need to put you in your best spot in order to be successful. In NFL, we're so strategic that and tactical that it's not just man on man. I have to make sure that your best players is nullified.
Yeah.
And I have to expose your weaknesses. And if you do that well, you find a way to continually create plays that expose their weaknesses, doing the exact same thing. It's like finding how to get the ball to Zach Ertz versus their linebackers, and we saw last week.
Are you saying Zach Ertz?
Zach Ertz. Ertz. Well, White Claw and Hurts. Yes, I'm hurting with White Claws. But Zach Ertz. But you find that way of doing it the same way that they did versus Isaiah Simmons the prior week versus the Carolina Panthers with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And the same thing with George Kittle. They just found a way to attack a young linebacker who's having to be a cover corner, a cover linebacker, which is hard in the NFL. And the same thing, once we find your weaknesses, you have to be strategic in that. And some guys will catch a bunch of balls and some guys won't. And the purpose of that is because I found a weakness that you don't do well if I just keep throwing little hitches outside. And you don't do well if I fake the hitch and I hit him in the seam. Or if we run a counter where my right guard is pulling to the left side and my left guard is actually blocking down, and I'm creating a counter that's deceptive to the defensive line, that the guy on the other side, honestly, he's really good, but he's too aggressive. And since he's too aggressive, he'll come upfield, he'll block him, he'll come around, get the linebacker, and James will come right behind if he just pauses and come back behind and he gets the ball. So it's
I feel like if that was going to happen already, Elon, that would have happened by now.
You started the Zach Hertz as an HERTZ car rental conversation.
I thought we was cool, Elon. I thought we was cool.
Low Tone Capone was the first to comment with Hertz and a car. Then Elon Musk asking, "Do you guys now have a Zach Hertz car rental sponsorship?"
We do. We're working on that too as well. So
there's nothing on Google about Hertz having a partnership with Hertz, but that seems like a missed opportunity.
I know. Hertz and Hertz.
I was gonna say, isn't it funny? Real quick, before the season, the narrative was the Cardinals win despite Kliff Kingsbury. Like, that was the narrative. I found an article
that we discussed of whether or not, basically like Kyler and whoever else were basically just covering up
Hopkins,
for Kliff,
yeah.
Kliff being a terrible coach. And we had like a whole show around that.
And like the fact that like if you swapped, let's say like Jimmy Garoppolo for Kyler and you gave Kyle Shanahan, Kyler Murray, like they would go like 16-1 or whatever.
Right.
That was the narrative 2 months ago. It's flipped completely. That to me, I think, is the biggest development of the season. His maturation process as a head coach. We all thought Kyler would take that next step. A lot of us were bullish on the defense, that they would play well, right? But it's like in the NFC West, when the margin for error is so small and everybody has similar personnel, top to bottom, right? And the Cardinals, clearly this year, they've taken a step forward with a lot of their guys, but they lost so many games in the fourth quarter last year that was on coaching. And so the reason why, and I get knocked on this all the time, is like, well, John, you picked them to go 8-9, 9-8. Well, because I didn't think that they could win those kind of games. They've never shown under Kliff that they could do that. Now they're winning. No one could have predicted they would win 6 road games to begin the season and win all of them by double digits, no matter how bullish you were about this team. So it all comes back to Kliff Kingsbury and the fact that he's the coach of the year.
I don't think I've ever been more excited. I typically will talk about players, maturing and, rookie, second year, third year, from the way that they came into the league and what they're doing now, and it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know that I've ever said that about a head coach, but it's been genuinely exciting and interesting to watch Kliff grow as a head coach in the NFL. I really don't think I've ever said that about like any other coach.
Well, we don't give coaches leeway like we give players, and especially in this division, you have to learn on the fly. You don't get time to the maturation process because of how competitive the NFC West is.
I'm glad we're right here now. So watch this. Kliff won't be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals next year.
What?
Kliff Kingsbury won't be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals next year.
Why?
Because of everything you said. Money will talk.
He is not leaving. Frank.
What?
Just pause. Pause.
Frank's having a moment.
No, I'm not having a moment. I literally thought about this all day. And I said,
USC's going to call him and tell him to come back to college.
For $11 million and he only getting 3 with the Cardinals, he'll make a good ass decision.
Not leaving the college.
Okay, back to real talk. Back to real talk.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
I'm
with
telling you.
You offended Frank.
No. Don't just watch.
I'm confused where this segment is gone.
No, watch. When you're winning, you're wanted. So all it takes is somebody else to come and say, I'll give you 11 to come here.
Yeah, well, why can't the Cardinals do that?
Cardinals just pay him that much money.
Okay. Why won't the Cardinals just do that?
Well, he's getting $4 million right now. He's going to get extended.
Yeah.
I would imagine that they'll double his salary.
You're hoping so that's 8. I'll give him 11.
I think Kliff.
I'll give you 11.
There's only 32 of these gigs.
I'll give you 11. I'll give you 11. Another coach.
NFL coaches do not leave for collegiate jobs unless they're fired.
I didn't say he was going to the collegiate.
You think so? They'd have no.
He can go to the NFL.
First of all, the Cardinals own his rights. His contract doesn't expire. He signed a 5-year deal.
Oh, he signed a 5-year deal.
Yes. So they'd have to trade him. So none of this is happening. Don't buy any of this.
All right, now Frank.
This man.
I thought he was on a 3-year deal.
No.
I thought he was a restricted free agent. Manny got a shitty deal. 5 years?
I think he got 5 years, $20 million.
That sucks.
$4 million.
Getting $5 million. I tell you what, if they don't renew it, I tell you what he's going to do. He's going to hold out. He's going to hold out.
Okay, Frank.
They'll renew it.
It's 9-2. We're trying to celebrate Victory Monday, right? Let's not
fill.
You,
I'm feeling a lot of like Aquarius energy in the room. Love,
I'm telling you. I'm just watch this here. So watch. I get it. We're 9-2, and that's why you have agents and lawyers that speak and talk a different kind of language. They speak and talk a different kind of language. They do. We've let go many players with this team, and I'm just saying
this is not. I know you have PTSD.
I have none of that.
How cheap this organization was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I understand that. Now you told me you have a 5-year deal. I get that. I'm just saying somebody will whisper in his ear about the potential opportunity of doing something different. If you got the money and you're okay with spending it and you want to win and change your narrative.
Why scream into this pillow? Because I can't fucking listen to this.
I don't want to
listen.
All right, I'm getting off that train. I put it out there. I'm getting off that train. Like I look at some things a little different, and I see where the money's at on the table. And when you're winning, you're the hot shot. And when you got the opportunity to be the hot shot,
can't we just have nice things for once?
Yeah, I typically am all for. I did that just like so far out, Frank,
Okay.
right, to be,
Okay, let's go.
But I get your point where you thought he was on a 3-year deal, and okay, I get that.
Okay.
They did let Kurt Warner test the market once upon a time, so
Okay.
that I'll give you that.
I got so many conspiracy theories in my head right now. When you said that, I could just keep going on and on. Low Tone Capone can walk with me a little bit. I'm telling you, we could talk about this stuff over some good stuff. Go ahead. I'll leave it alone, brother. I'll leave it alone.
All right. Well, we are now going to skip the stats section. I'm going to tell you guys once more about the DraftKings Sportsbook app. A Turkey Day no-brainer that you can't miss. Again, bet $1 on any Thanksgiving NFL game. Win $100 in free bets if either team scores a point. And again, those same-game parlays, you can get in on a new same-game parlay offer that's sweeter than Grandma's pumpkin pie.
Delicious.
Or sweet potato pie or apple pie, whatever pie you like to go with on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes.
More legs you add, more money you're going to get in a payout. And, on Thanksgiving as well, all customers can get a risk-free bet up to $25 if your same-game parlay does not win. So this is the week, or Thanksgiving Day specifically, is a great, if you have not downloaded the app, it's a great time to do so.
Yes.
Okay, let's wrap it up with a little game of pass or run. Starting with, put your Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving. Like Chandler Jones did.
I'll run with it.
Run with it?
We've done it before. We have to buy a new one this year. That's the only reason it's not up right now. To the much chagrin of my wife, she's like anti-Christmas music, like just wants to slow play it into December 21st. I would put up everything November 1st. I'm that kind of person. It's a some might call it a problem or a sickness. I will run with that.
We always did like we made an event like it's like, oh, this is when we're going to decorate for Christmas as a family. And so we would like order in food and we would do the music thing. And it was like this whole thing where we would just decorate the whole house with Christmas. And it was like this nostalgic thing, which I have not done at all as an adult. So maybe one day we'll bring it back. But I feel like Thanksgiving weekend, so like few days after Thanksgiving is like the exact right spot.
December, I'm passing. I gotta wait till December because you gotta get. I feel like you gotta get through Thanksgiving and all the food of Thanksgiving.
What does that have to do with putting up some lights?
Because it's Christmas and it's not at that time. I gotta pass on that so I can get through Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving buying and shopping and eating and all the food that's left over, and then once I get through that, then I can bring out the other stuff and then just kind of get everybody into the spirit of kind of giving and wrapping presents and saving money up until that window of time, finding out what you want, what you need. Were you bad or naughty? Was you good or all that stuff? So I gotta play it out. Gotta let that whole moment. December needs to have his own crescendo moment.
See, I think you're right. There's like no one has realistically like a ton of Thanksgiving decorations, so it's just so seamless. So you take down your Halloween stuff and you're just like, I'm ready. I'm ready to rip that Band-Aid off.
But I do have a buddy. I got a buddy. He was so excited. He had his boxes out in the. It was just like 2 weeks ago. He had his box Christmas stuff out in the living room. I was like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, man, I can't wait. I'm so excited about the lights. I can't wait to put them up. I'm like, man, if you want my help, you won't get it till December. Promise you.
All right. Everyone has their own opinion on when is the right time.
Peter's passing on it. He's got that one.
All right. Turkey is overrated.
Pass for sure.
You love turkey?
Yeah, it's great.
No,
what?
I'm running with that. Turkey is, I mean, like I could never eat turkey again and just be perfectly happy.
What kind of meat would you go with then over turkey?
Okay, so I feel like we should save this for our Thanksgiving talk later on in the week, but I'll get into it a little bit. I love ham.
Okay.
Don't really eat a lot of pork, so like I kind of stopped eating that. So I just eat. There's like a few things that I eat, but they're mostly just sides. So like I don't even eat meat and I don't eat bread. I don't have time for that. I don't have time and I'll ruin my stomach. I want my calories. Like there's only so much room in my stomach.
Calories. Sure.
Yeah. Like there's only so many calories I can actually fit into my stomach. And so I'm not going to waste mashed potatoes. Not going to waste it on that. I mean, like I know what I will eat.
Give me your hierarchy then of what you're going to go with the top three then.
I can't do that because I got a graphic that I'm making.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Never mind. That's a tease. That's the ultimate tease.
That's the ultimate tease.
We will do Thanksgiving food rankings later on in the week.
Oh, yeah. You asked us for those. Never mind.
Yeah.
That feels like forever ago.
I think it's kind of like you have to have turkey. Kind of like it's...
No.
It ties everything together.
It's like a Christmas tree and Christmas. It's chocolate candy and Valentine's Day. So I feel like you got to have turkey. I like the taste of turkey. I like that we've added the fried turkey in it, where you literally just let it, you season it up really well.
Yeah.
I've never had fried turkey.
Oh my God.
That might be a game changer.
That could be a game changer. Fried turkey is pretty darn delicious. But I like regular turkey too, and the gravy and the stuffing and all that good stuff.
I'm with you on the ham though. We do Christmas ham.
Yeah.
We diversified a little.
I like Peter. Peter said I don't put up a tree until Starbucks changes from pumpkin spice to cinnamon spice.
Ooh.
I feel like there's like an overlap. No, I went to Dunkin' and they had both. Like they had their pumpkin stuff still and their white mocha, peppermint mocha stuff and whatever. Maybe Starbucks is different. All right. Let's get into some football stuff. Matt Prater was not at fault for his missed field goal.
I know where Frank's
Are we
going with
passing
it.
and running or passing? Was he not at fault?
He's not at fault. Matt Prater was not at fault. So are you running with that? Or are you passing on that? You think that was his fault?
You mean between his foot and the ball?
Like he didn't have his long snapper out there.
Oh, but
And it was windy.
What?
And it was windy. The wind was.
I'm gonna
He didn't have
pass.
his long snapper out there.
I'm passing
Actually,
on that.
I got this idea because
That's a good question.
I was watching
all those
your
things
sh-
are- those are
I was
facts.
watching your guys' show and I saw in the comments. Let me see if I can pull it up. Somebody made a comment on the YouTube stream and said that it was something about like you could tell that the laces weren't in the right spot or something like that, and that was like the long snapper's fault.
He was missing like badly too, so it feels like there was something else going on. I just gave him a pass because he had a kid this week and probably on no sleep. And
I would take that, but the long snapper, once he snaps it and the holder catches it, he has to turn the laces out.
Not if it
Laces
was
out.
like, not if he doesn't have time to do it. Like if the snap is off.
Catch spin.
I just think it just speaks to how
There's an art
dominant
to
the
it.
Cardinals are. That their kicker can miss
Einhorn
two
thinks-
field goals and an extra point, and they still win by 10. They should have scored 30 points yesterday. That to me, Matt Prater has been phenomenal all season. He should go to the Pro Bowl. He can have a mulligan against Seattle. I don't care. Don't do it in the playoffs, Matt.
I'll give him a mulligan too, because I mean, like he's been pretty spectacular for the most part of the season.
Okay, so we're gonna say that he was not at fault. Seattle's season is over.
Run for sure. I would like to see them knock off a couple teams the Cardinals are competing against for seeding purposes in the second half. But with that being said, that looked like a team that was ready to quit. They haven't figured it out. I think Russell Wilson's going to demand another trade publicly in the offseason. I think he ends up in the AFC. Pete Carroll, 7 years old, too much control, flawed roster, old, slow in too many positions. Russell Wilson's never had a losing season. He is destined for one this year. They are done.
I say no, only because I mean they put up a good fight versus the Cardinals. I just don't think he's 100% healthy right now.
And that might be part of it too.
They have pieces, but they have leaders. They have a leader in their quarterback and have a leader in their linebacker. And then Pete Carroll does a very good job of keeping the guys in a competitive mode. They're just not on point right now. So I don't think that this will be a losing season for them. I don't think it's over. I think they could make a run only because they do have talent. They're just not putting it together right now. Him being hurt affects him a lot.
I think he's hurt way more than people are letting on. Like that was his worst performance against the Cardinals that I can remember in 10 years.
Well, who knows if he had a setback or something like that. I mean, first off, he had pins in his finger.
Yeah.
So like, and he had surgery. So it wasn't like it was like, oh, he had this little strain and like let's just like keep him out for a few weeks. Like he really screwed it up, and he might have had a setback.
He skipped a ball to a wide open receiver that was would have walked him for a touchdown like late in the game, and I'm like, this guy is not right. They should shut him down. He should do what's in the best interest of him. He's carried this franchise after the Legion of Boom was dead and gone. He put this organization on his back for the last half decade. He deserves time off. I know what kind of competitor he is, but at the same time, he's got to do what's in the best interest of Russell, and hopefully that means leaving the Seahawks after this season.
I would hope that he didn't, just to follow it, just to chase a little bit. I would hope that he didn't. I wish they would give him a couple more pieces as well on the defense for, they stud of a linebacker. And this team actually can be pretty special. Pete Carroll probably needs to leave. He needs somebody that can come in that can, build an offense around him. But he has DJ Metcalf, who can be a stud of a receiver. And he has Lockett, who still just making plays. So they got a voice over there. They really do have a good voice, and they could be something. But if he leaves, I feel like you're leaving a lot of money on the table that you earned.
Well, they'll never be able to replace him.
And so that's why I say continually build your market there and find out that the only person you have really to compete with in this division is Kyler Murray. And why not?
Well, to me, it just feels like it just run its course.
It feels that way, though.
They've been so good for so long. I saw they have the best record in the NFL since Russell came into the NFL since 2012, only behind New England. They've been the kings of the NFC. It just hasn't felt like that because the last couple of years they've been one and done in the playoffs, but so many times they were advancing. NFC title games. They went to back-to-back Super Bowls. Russell's in his early to mid-30s now. Pete's 70 years old. The roster, they traded 2 first-round picks and a third for a box safety that got exposed in coverage against Zach Ertz yesterday. There's not a quick fix for Seattle. So I think at the end, you got to make some hard decisions. And if you're talking about moving off of Russell Wilson, at least that gives you a chance to reset. But if you're just going to be a middling team like this, then what's the point?
Yeah, I think they need an entire reset.
It's
Head
great,
coach,
though. I love
quarterback, all the way around. All right, pass or run. LA is regretting going all in this year.
I mean, like, I don't think they would say that publicly, but I think that it was a mistake making these moves and going so top heavy with the roster. You could never have projected that Robert Woods would go down. Robert Woods, who's a better receiver than Odell Beckham is right now. That's not a knock on Odell Beckham. That's just a fact.
I'll knock it.
They lost Cam Akers at the beginning of the season. It just shows you the disparity between how the Cardinals built the roster and the Rams. The Cardinals went out, signed a bunch of vet minimum guys, super high character that are helping them get through the dog days of the season. All those players that we talked about earlier, James Conner's making $1.75 million. Colt McCoy's making close to the veteran minimum, right? You know, AJ Green's making like $3 million. The Cardinals traded for Zach Ertz, gave away a 5th-round pick and Tay Gowan. The Rams, I just feel like they thought they were going to cruise to a division title, and these moves were really predicated on January football in their building. Like Von Miller, that they were egotistical trades, in my opinion. Cardinals are going to win this division now. So that means the Rams are going to have to go on the road to like a Dallas or a Tampa Bay. I just think I think that secretly they have to be having some doubts about how they put together this team.
I don't think they are. I think they might regret getting
They still have
Stafford.
confidence. They think they can win a Super Bowl.
They might regret getting. I think Sean McVay is seeing Matthew Stafford
I would agree
for
with
who
that.
he is. I think he's seeing him. They haven't seen the best of that defense yet because that defense is really good with Vaughn and Aaron Donald being on it. And then you just kind of they need to put Ramsey in a spot and not let him be a free-flowing agent. Make him decide what he wants to be. Put him in a spot and then lock that defense down and let everybody else play their role. But when it comes to offensively, I think that they're going to find out what they got with your boy Matt Stafford. And he has to figure out how to coach him in a better way. That now he needs to put probably 2 running backs on the table. They need to go back and get Deshaun Jackson, bring him back into the fold, and then have OJ, have Deshaun, and then let your boy Cooper Kupp do what he does on the inside. So once they figure that formula out, I think they still believe if they play the Cardinals and go head-to-head, they run the table out of the next 5 games. They give themselves a chance, and then they beat the Cardinals. They make themselves a viable option for a conversation that says we're still here and we put ourselves in a position to be here.
I would say if you don't make the Super Bowl, it's extremely disappointing.
100%.
For them.
It would be, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's true, and the Cardinals are kind of having that same aspirations, but like,
yeah, I mean, I would be ticked if I was watching the Cardinals have this success. I mean, the last time the Rams stepped on the field, they lost to the freaking 49ers. And here the Cardinals are winning 2 of 3 without their starting quarterback, heading into the bye with the best record in the NFL, which we mentioned, and 4-0 against NFC West teams, and heading into a bye where they're going to come out on the other side with Kyler and DeAndre again. If I'm LA just looking at what the Cardinals are doing, I would be ticked. And I think some of the moves that they made mid-season, it were moves that were, directly, just looking right on the other side of the division, and we need to keep up.
I agree with you 100%. It looks like they have they have a talented team. They just hadn't found the right voice to motivate this team to do what they need to do. Sean McVay's a rah guy, and once you lose that rah, you need leadership. And if no one's speaking on the defensive side, and I know Von's gonna come in there and speak, on offense, they don't have any voice. Odell can't say anything yet. Cooper's probably not going to say anything. So it's got to come through Matthew. And if he doesn't do his part and his play sucks with it, he's going to start losing guys. He's going to start losing guys emotionally and mentally because they're going to realize he's not the dude that we thought he was in week 1 and week 2 and 3. And it will be a slap in the face.
I just feel like there's just been too much turnover with them where they lost coordinators and defensive personnel every year, and that's a testament to McVay, and he's an elite head coach. But they lost their defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley. He's doing a nice job with the Chargers. So they're not as good defensively. And then you look on the offensive side of the ball, and it's like another year older for Andre Whitworth, and they pluck this quarterback who has been, really a perennial loser with Detroit, and everybody wanted to put that on the Lions ownership. He has been hidden, and I say this every time we talk about him, that he's been hidden at the 10 a.m. kickoff time, and he's lost 2 straight nationally televised games, right? And everybody just thought that they'd be the darlings of the NFC and they'd roll to the Super Bowl, and I think they're caught off guard by the Cardinals' success. Certainly, I'm sure McVay is, based on the ascension that Kliff is having right now. They do not want to be in a position where they are playing on the road in wild card weekend come January, and that would just be the most satisfying thing if you're a Cardinal fan, to watch this Rams team that was so high on themselves. We always talk about like McVay and how he carries himself, rah-rah guy, got some arrogance to him. That just having them go and take on a division winner like a Tampa, right? That they'd have to go beat Brady. That to me would be so fulfilling.
All right, we have been talking for quite a while, so let's wrap things up. But before we go, let's remind everybody once again about our awesome block party that we're having coming up December 13th for Monday Night Football, taking on the Rams.
Yeah.
Cardinals taking on the Rams, and we've got a whole heck of a lot going on for our block party from 3 to 6 p.m. out at Westgate. We've got, again, all you can eat, all you can drink, which is dangerous for me and Frank. And
right there.
Still plenty of tickets, so go ahead and get your tickets. But they do, the closer that you get, the ticket prices go up. So if you know you want to go, I would just go get those tickets now. Once again, teaming up with Bird Gang Travel Club and the Lola. Going to have a DJ, prizes. We're all going to be out there. It's going to be an absolute blast. So make sure you, get your tickets sooner rather than later, and we hope to see you out there. If you haven't hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcast, please do that as well. And if you haven't followed us on social media yet, we'd love that as well. At PHNX_Cardinals. Hit us up on Twitter. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.